Can you hear me? Are we good? Are we on? Are we on? Hello, and welcome to the November dev stream. I hope the sound is good, and I hope you're ready and pumped to lock, load, rock and roll. Pretty crappy, to be honest. Damn, son. Let me listen in myself, see if we can get that sorted. Always some booming with the tech. Wouldn't be the dev stream if it weren't. Interesting. It's actually pretty terrible. Let's see if we try to turn that down. Is that better? How we doing? That's better, right? I think that's better. Yeah, I think that's better. I'll have to try to speak close into the microphone. Maybe I could set it to boost the audio one level rather than two. 10 decibels. 10 decibels. That's pretty. That's not good, right? No, I think that was better. I think that was a lot better, actually. Let's do that. Okay, so tech is tech. It's bullshit. Yes. Hello, welcome. How y'all doing tonight? I hope you're doing good. Happy 1st of Advent to you. I was thinking we should do some light reading. So let me do that first before we kick off by doing some light reading. Chapter 2. And it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. And this taxing was first made when Quirinius was governor of Syria. And all went out to be taxed, every one into his own city. And Joseph also went up from Galilee out of the city of Nazareth into Judea unto the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David, to be taxed with Mary, his espoused wife, being great with child. And so it was that, while they were there, the days were accomplished that she should be delivered. And she brought forth her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn. And there were in the same country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them, and the glory of the Lord shone round about them, and they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Saviour, which is Christ the Lord. And this shall be a sign unto you. Ye shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host, praising God and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men. Boom. Boom. There we go. That is the Gospel according to Luke, 2nd chapter, describing the birth of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. So we're going to kick right into it. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Haven and Hearth live stream for November. I'm Jorb, one half of the dynamic developer duo behind a wonderful free-to-play MMORPG, crafting, open world, permanent death, sort of, freeform building, persistent world, all that jazz. And I'm Jorb, my nom de guerre. My real name is Björn. And I'll be doing some light streaming tonight, as it were. And we're gonna be looking at some new things. And you're gonna get some sneak previews of some stuff we're working on, and we're gonna be talking about where we at in terms of development, and everything. And Loftar will not be Loftar Frederick, my colleague, my esteemed partner in crime, will not be joining us tonight, for he is out of town for over the weekend. I think he'll be back. I think actually he's probably back tonight. So there we are. So maybe some of you saw some new things that we are working on right there. I don't know if you're smart enough to catch it, but we're going to talk about that. So yeah, Haven and Hearth, it's a great game. Check it out, www.havenandhearth.com. And yeah, freeform crafting, open world. Basically, you start out as a little dude in the world, and your mission is whatever you choose it to be. Basically, you can walk around, build things, craft things, and carve out a little existence for yourself in this beautiful world that we made for you. But anywho, so first things first, the fighting system that we've been working on. I should perhaps not go so far as to say that we've decided to scrap it, but we have pretty much decided to scrap it for a number of reasons. We're not actively developing it presently, at least. And that's a shame because we've been working on it for quite a while, and we're quite happy with it for several reasons. And but we have decided to at least take a step back on that because we got some fairly harsh criticism, which was probably on point and fairly accurate. And we ourselves grew hesitant over, some of the concerns that were raised were, they seemed pretty accurate, and they were reflected in our own testing as well. Namely, chiefly, the fact that we had made it so a central feature of the game was that you did not hit automatically with your moves and attacks and such. And an effect of that was that all moves, all attack moves, all combat moves had a wind-up timer. That is to say, a timer that had to pass before the attacks were actually executed. And this didn't, we felt, it led to a very passive base game. And I'm actually just going to go gather some curios and talk about what we've done there later. Led to a very passive base game. Basically, the person who was the most passive in the fight kind of dictated it, at least in a 1v1 situation. Arguably, 1v1 situations aren't the most interesting, but I do feel that it at least has to work for 1v1 situations. And we tried to amend that by adding some moves which we felt kind of helped the game. We added some moves in the original vein of auto-targeted, hitting instantly. I'll assume some familiarity with the combat system here in the ongoing discussion, because otherwise it won't be very meaningful. So we added some moves, and we felt that helped a lot. We felt that did good things for the combat system, and we felt that the new combat system, and I still feel that it played out fairly well. So as you can see, we're going to gather some stuff here, right? That it played out fairly well as a fighting system in its own right. However, I'm more skeptical of whether it will work out in the general kind of flight and pursuit dynamic of actual combat in Haven, because as an observation that someone astutely and correctly, I think, made, is that in Haven, in a real life fighting situation, you're essentially always, more or less always, in a situation where one party to the combat, to the fight, is running away and the other party is pursuing. And when attacks take time to execute, that doesn't play out too well, because it's essentially impossible to hit someone who is trying to get away from you, trying to escape. So that was a bit of a shame, because that is a bit of a shame. Princess Mandy 91 says, "Hi, how's it going?" It's going well, thank you, Mandy. Oops, bore. It's not. This is a new character, by the way. I'm not playing the old character, so we'll see even more noobish stuff. And I'm playing a new character for a very specific reason, which I'm going to get into shortly here. So, with all that being said and done, again, like we felt that the combat system worked well enough when both parties were actually interested in a fight, but we did not feel that it played out well when one party was not interested in a fight, and that is arguably the default case in Haven and Hearth combat situations. So, with that being said, we're kind of back to the drawing board, I guess, for combat, and I'm not sure we have, too many great ideas. Some people pointed out, and I think it's accurate, that the combat system actually works okay-ish, I guess, in fights against multiple opponents, multiple intelligent opponents who have their own agendas and are trying to do real things. And I think that's probably accurate, and so it at least works better in real combat situations with unbalanced sides where you have some number of people on the one side and some other number of people on the other side, and people are running away, people are actually trying to protect their characters and such. And so we felt that the new combat system didn't play out too well under those circumstances, whereas the old system kind of does, because you can pursue people, you can if you do catch up to someone, you will more automatically land a hit on them, and you have a chance to do that. Meanwhile, there are other factors going into it that kind of makes it work better, i.e. you can use jump moves and such to lower your openings when you're running away, which was a feature that we had distinctly avoided in the new combat system, where jump and the like moves would take a significant amount of time to execute. So essentially you'd have a situation there where the combat system didn't feel the new combat system did not feel as if it would be particularly balanced in terms of PvP and such. Either you would have a case where one party is always able to run away. That could perhaps be fine, but there should at least be some theoretical possibility of actually hitting someone. And there were other things going into it as well, like some of the moves that we had added didn't. There were issues with like piling in and blah 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 blah, piling in on people, and that was problematic as well. So yeah, I don't know. Haven't really. Not sure I have all my thoughts on this subject gathered properly here, but basically, we're not feeling it. We're not feeling that it's going to be good, so we stopped working on it. Which is a shame, because we spent a good amount of time working on it, and we did have some hopes that it would turn out to be something that we could actually use. And this is like, I don't know, the fourth iteration of combat, so I found a moose. Found a dead moose, yo. But such is life, and when all is said and done, it wasn't a complete waste of time. We explored an option. Whoa! Sorry about that. Damn. We explored some options that didn't work, and we learned some ways that didn't work. And I suppose that was an exploratory development that was worth it. And also, I got to make a fair amount of combat, animations, and a fair amount of combat effects, and I think those we will be able to reuse in any combat system. So that effort wasn't completely wasted, at least. Nevertheless, it's a bit of a shame, but there we are, and I think I know some of you are probably some of the more vocal opponents of the new combat system that we were attempting, or are probably breathing a sigh of relief that we're not adding it back in. But yeah, as I said, and as many people pointed out, it works better in real fights against multiple opponents. And my real complaint with the combat system is that it's pretty boring in 1v1. It's essentially a lot of it is just a stat check, which I find unfortunate, and there's no real skill involved, etc., etc. That being said, it's a very delicate design challenge. I'm not sure what skills we can meaningfully test. for players to have, and we've been over that a couple of times with, what skill set can we actually, meaningfully test in the combat system? Like how can the combat system be meaningfully skill dependent? And the venue that we tried with the new combat system was aim being, you didn't hit automatically, so you had to aim properly and time your attacks. And I'm not sure that worked out too well, especially, at least with the we're going to make another box here, another crate to store our yank. And yeah, it was a shame because there were several things that I felt would have worked better under the new combat system, archery being one of them, because archery was much more well integrated with the new combat system, and the new combat system was much more well integrated, at least in a sense, with movement in general. But, if you can't ever hit anyone, then it's not really a good combat system. So I suppose the real design challenge is how do we make a skill testing combat system that is not just a stat check and that checks the players for some meaningful skill that they can actually have, which I guess can't really be aiming and timing the attacks and such. So it's rough. It's a tough one. It's a really hard design challenge, especially considering all the integration that the fighting system needs to have with the rest of the game. It needs to work not just as a standalone fighting system, but in the context of the game in general. And I think that was the problem that we kind of discovered eventually with the new attempt that we were working on. So there we are. And as someone was asking, Zunzon said, before Start Combat rework, you tried to remove satiation. Why wasn't it removed yet? That's the thing that we've been exploring now. And I'm playing here on the real server, but I'm playing on a developer account, as it were. And we've done a little change. So it only works for God accounts or developer accounts right now. Insane Chef says the animations are great, though. Will you keep them? Yes, I'll try to. We'll definitely try to keep those. So I think that's one of the things that one side of the effort that again wasn't entirely wasted. I think I don't know if you mean the character animations like on the 3D character or if you mean the combat effects, but the combat effects at least we'll be able to reuse, and arguably some of the character animations as well. So those will be backported, I think, into any combat system as soon as we do like our what is it, the umpteenth take on a combat system. So those will still be there, and I think those added a lot. They make it possible to like view the fight from the outside and get good feedback on what is going on and being able to follow a fight from the outside viewer's perspective. So those are still gonna make it in, still gonna be a thing. Cozy says, I like the new combat system aside from the never missing moves, and to be honest, if you went that direction, you would also need to remove unarmed combat, melee combat, and cap strength con. Yeah, we're probably going to cap strength con anyway, or at least make it a relative comparison, so that it is a relativized value, much like melee and such are. So, some insights gleaned, I hope, and it sucks that we spent so much time on it, but it is what it is. Like, it's better to abandon the ship than to, force through something that is not going to be good in the end. So what we've done here with the developer God accounts is that we have changed satiations. As you can see, I have particular satiations here. I have a satiation for roast chicken and one for blueberries. So essentially the change that we've done here and that I'm kind of trying out on this character is that rather than satiate categories of food, i.e. meat, fish, etc., which was bad for several reasons, we are now instead satiating individual foods. So each food item has its own satiation. And let's just build up a little bit of some good eating, and we're gonna, have a look at what that can play out like. how that can play out. And I don't have that much food going on right now. I had more earlier, but I ate it all. We're gonna make some escargots d'amour. Greetings, Spruce Caps. Be by thy Jorb, combat scrapped. Yeah, the new combat system, we're not working on that anymore. Kebermex says, sadly, in a game where you can lose your character and eventually everything else if you lose a fight, people don't want a fun and complex combat system. They will always stick to the easiest, most efficient way to kill and not die. Permadeath leaves no room for creativity or experimentation in combat. I'm not sure that's apodictically true. I think even if you have a high-stakes game, there can still be experimentation, perhaps not in a live fight situation, but you can certainly, practice with your friends and, I guess, find good ways. That being said, I agree with you that people are going to stick, to the try to find the optimal ways of, approaching the combat system and, try to use those. But that being said, I don't think that necessarily precludes the option that several, builds of a character, for example, could be, relevant. So again, presently on the running server, for ye normal mortals, you are still satiated by categories, which is kind of unfortunate. One of the things that I have felt hasn't played out too well with satiations is that satiating a particular category, say, fish, or seafood, as it were, makes it so that, because as you know how these work, like the more satiated you are, the less gains you get from the food items you eat, and satiating the categories, like an overarching category, like meat or fish or whatever, makes it so that you're heavily incentivized to only eat the best item in that category. For example, you only eat the best type of cheese because, increasing your cheese satiation will bork your gains from cheese generally. So what we've done here is to make it so that the satiations are applied individually to each type, which means that, as you can see, I'm now getting particular satiations for the things I'm eating, which means that I'm incentivized toward variance instead. And I've played with this a little bit on this new character, and I felt that it worked out pretty well. What I think it accomplishes is that you have incentives to not just spam one type of food, but the decrease in gains is relatively mild, so you can still, eat a number, as you can see, a number of the various food items. Right now we are pretty satiated on chanterelles, and but we can still kind of force grind chanterelles a little bit. Boom, there we go. And now we have, a kind of extensive, exhaustive list of satiations, but, every food item in the game is still, open to us, and we can still eat, for example, apples. We have no satiations for apples yet, so apples will be applied at, 100% satiation, or, with essentially effectively with no satiation. Also, mulberries, we don't have satiation for that, blah, blah, blah. And with this will obviously, as H&H Granger points out, come a rework of drinks. Presently, we're kind of looking at making the drinks just basically boost a particular character with some additional, or a particular, so we'll still use the overarching food groups for that, and have the various drinks basically just boost, fish or seafood or meat or whatever, like boost one of the broader food categories. And I think that this system works out pretty well. Hunger level, says Anxele. Is anything going to change? I don't know. Do you think anything should change? I think they work well in tandem, because there's both a bit of a cap on how much food you can eat generally, and there's a bit of a cap on how satiations will reset over time, quite simply. So these will decrease over time at the same rate that they are presently decreasing on the real server. So no change there, really. The only real change that we've done here is to move the satiations from the broader food categories to the to one food category per food item type. That's really the only change. Let's actually what we can do, I think. And I felt that this helped out a lot because you're never really, you don't bork your satiations in a more general sense. You only bork particular food groups by eating them. So there's always going to be, like, even if you fill up your craving for cheese, a particular cheese or whatever, you're always still. Didn't I have a canoe here somewhere? Did I not have a canoe, chat? Where did my canoe go? I had a canoe. I know I had a canoe. I dropped it somewhere. Gosh darn it. No, it's probably maybe no. It's not there either. Oh well, we'll just go out looking then. We'll just go out looking for the canoe or the dugout. Well, it makes it so that you can always eat something, and there are always going to be more food groups available, or particular food items available to you. So it incentivizes eating a varied diet, and that's a good thing, I think. And doesn't bork your particular categories, etc., etc. I'm not sure there's much more to say about it, other than I think that change is probably going to be good, unless someone has some major reason for us not to implement that. I think we're simply going to move forward with that, because I think, at least from my cursory testing here, it's played out fairly well. And I've tried a new character, so as to see how it kind of plays out from a starting character type perspective, and I thought that played out reasonably well. You were heavily incentivized, of course, to gather a varied diet of food, and but you also again you didn't f yourself up completely, and the satiations also dissipate quite kind of fast. So I mean, it's like, what is it, 3 in-game days, I think, maybe more, like maybe 6 in-game days, so like two real days from 100% to 0. So, and it's hard to build up your satiations because of how they scale. It's hard to build them up past like 50-ish, 50, 60, 75%. Past that range, you're going to have to eat a whole lot of food. I think if you eat like 100 items of a particular food, I think you'll be down to around like a 90% satiation. So, and you're never going to eat like 100 pieces of a particular food type, at least not starting out, maybe later, but at that point you can arguably afford to indulge in a more varied diet. And I think that variance would be a good thing, because I think it would mean that rather than like one food being the only thing spammed, like, granted, you would still be spamming the good food items as much as you can, but I think there would leave some incentive for H&H Granger says, general idea good, problem is that it will be brute forced, as everything. Yeah, I don't know what you mean by brute forced in this context, but I mean, you're probably right. People are gonna go at it hard and heavy, as they should. Bot, yeah, I guess bot, but like, I don't know. That's a perennial discussion as to how we can deal with bots and the like, or if we even should deal with them, or if we should just accept our loss in the war against the machines and join with the Borg Collective. Princess Mandy 91 says, will you add snowed roof? We would like to. We would like to add like snowed over meshes for essentially all in-world objects. And the thing we'd have to do then is because I don't, it's not a workable workflow that I add those manually. So we would need to implement a system for generating snow meshes or snow overlay meshes for the various objects. For example, by finding all the planes with their normals pointing upwards by some factor, and extrapolating those and somehow combobulating a snowed over mesh. But it's definitely on our list of things that we'd like to do. It's probably not something that we're going to do until the client rendering rewrite is finished. But and on that note, for the umpteenth time, I think we're getting there. I think it's almost finished. I think Lofter is down to at least fixing bugs now. So there's probably, I think he was working on setting up a test server for the client, for the new client, or some sort of test environment where you can test it, try it out before we try to push it to the main server. So I don't want to promise too much because I've done that before, but maybe there's light at the end of that tunnel as well. XZO Viking says, "What's up with the new combat?" The short version is that we're not working on it anymore. If you want the long version, you can go back and look at the first 30 minutes of the stream where I go into some rambling detail as to why we decided to not keep working on that. Also, there was the kind of general feeling that maybe the system wasn't a good fit for Haven given the latency issues and all that. So right now we're kind of back to the XZO Viking says short version will do. Thanks for confirming though. Yeah, you're welcome. It's a shame we spent a good deal of time on it, probably more than we really should have. But it's hard. Combat development takes a long time. We need to test it extensively as we develop it, and it is what it is. But we're gonna try again. So yeah, fair play for trying. Yeah, fair play, definitely. Thank you for taking the enlightened perspective on it. We're gonna, yeah, definitely XZO Viking. New experience for you. You might come up with something based on it. Yeah, definitely. I think at least we got some new insights and again, things that don't work. It's like the famous quote attributed to Edison that I haven't failed. I've come up with 10,000 ways that don't work, and that's a learning experience. And I'm happy about that. We're going to keep on trying. But again, it's a biatch of a design challenge to come up with a system that is actually skill testing in the autistic environment that is in MMO, where people can have full control over their own player identity. They can create new characters, they can create new villages, new bases, new everything, and it's really difficult coming up with a combat system that's actually going to work well, because it's we don't want it to be just a stat check. We want there to be an element of real skill, but also latency makes it so that having aiming be the skill, as we tried with this new take on the combat system, was kind of hard, especially given adding to compounding that problem with the general flight pursuit dynamic of actual combat with multiple opponents. Where one side is always running away. It's never going to be the case, as we perhaps naively had assumed. At least implicitly, that wasn't like in some sort of act of assumption on our part. But I think we kind of implicitly assumed that there would be that both parties are interested in a fight, and I realize now that is definitely not the case. Or I probably always realized that on some level, but at least now we have the insight more explicated for us. So Trollix H&H, appreciate the effort, Jorb. Yeah, thanks, Trollix. For what it's worth, again, I thought the new combat system was fun as a combat system in and of itself, as a kind of a fighting game of sorts. I thought it was fun. It played out fairly well. I thought we had it was skill testing. It was fun. There were some fun moves you could pull off, but ultimately I don't think it works. I don't think it interfaces well with the rest of the game. So that is a bit of a shame. But meh, it is what it is. Kevermex says, could you make it possible to dry out ocean salt and use it in similar fashion as seeds to use on the pavement tiles during the snow for it to melt and not reappear for the duration for that winter? Shoveling snow in game and in real life every day is too much. Yeah, that's not sure we can do that, but it's salt. We'll add that as small content maybe. Salt. to prevent snowing over. Arguably, like, we could perhaps just make it so that if you shovel a tile away, maybe it never regrows, or maybe it never snows over again for that season or something. Blah blah. Willie D1 says Edison, yuck. Good quote though. Yeah, you don't like Edison? I guess we don't, because he was mean to poor Tesla, or why don't we red pill me on Edison? Why don't we like Edison? And where there was something else. But yeah, new satiations again. Individual satiation per food item type. I thought it played out fairly well. There was I had some concern with the fishes, because there are so many of them, were kind of, I got a lot of level ups from those early on, but again, I'm not sure that's actually a problem, especially since you're also constrained by your hunger meter. And I kind of like that dynamic of being constrained generally in terms of how much food I can eat, and particularly in terms of, the item categories that I can eat. And it's never a hard lock. You can always kind of brute force feed yourself, any amount of food. And I think, boosting the variation and making variation more important would be a good thing for trade and the like, I think, or I imagine, I hope. Lies I tell myself, perhaps, but yeah. So, and it's because satiations were something that were arguably heavily overdone. I don't know how you guys feel about them right now. We milded them significantly, so they are certainly less of a nuisance now than they were, at the beginning of this world. Not sure if that left a bit of a sour taste, caused a lot of people to log out of the game. But I don't know how you feel they play out right now, but I think it's better now than it was at World Start, at least. So, and I think this change could make it even slightly better. So, Dakan says, stop raising my stats in May, June. Yeah. Why did you stop raising them though? Was it the satiation system, or just general boredom with the world, or why'd you stop, bro? What do you feel we need to change? Asrid Rose Online says, hello, I'm here. What did I miss? Some talk on individual satiations per food item category rather than per broad food type category. So that thing you missed, that's new. Otherwise, you missed that we're no longer working on the new iteration of the comment system. Scrap that. That's again short version of it. Long version, you'll have to rewatch the stream, upload later. But yeah, also, without promising too much, I think we may be nearing a deployment to a test environment of the oh no oops, toggles swimming. We're gonna try it, boys. We got away. You can stand there and look foolish for attempting to gank me like that. Dakin says, got enough to mine. Raising them is a bit annoying to do it regularly as opposed to periodic feasting, and unlike last world, I didn't really want to put into the effort to raise my other stats up to silly miners. Alright, fair enough. Dinosaurs Rex says, will there ever be any more mechanics and tools that will help players who prefer more of the nomadic lifestyle? I hope so, man. I really hope so. It's one of the things that, during development, you get into these paradigms of oh, we got to get the siege system working and blah, blah, blah. We got to get, and you kind of get locked into working within, existing paradigms. The existing paradigms being, claims and walls and, all the usual jazz that a settlement has. But arguably, one of the things that we definitely should be doing is precisely what you're, asking for, namely support other playstyles like nomadic and whatnot. That being said, I'm not sure what mechanics would be needed to support a more nomadic lifestyle. What mechanics would you like to see? Sacricare Strong says, "Hi, if you don't introduce a new comment system, could you introduce the graphic part from it into the old one?" Yeah, definitely. Like the new effects and such, we will definitely be backporting those. So that part of the effort that we spent will not be wasted. Let me. Colsey TV says, "You need a space to put a hearth fire and a way to protect objects between logouts." A wall, you say? Yeah, one of the things that I kind of would like is like, oops, I dropped my ladybug. One of the things that I would like to see is being able to kind of hide or reduce your in-world footprint, as it were, significantly, so that you're not, making yourself as much of a target. Other than that, I mean, there's no way that we're going to be able to support, the full plethora of all the industries and whatnot and make them equally relevant for a nomadic lifestyle. That being said, arguably there could perhaps be a different tech tree which is relevant for nomads. That would be fun, but yeah, I'm not sure I have the exhaustive list of ideas that. But it would be fun to have a yurt or a tent that you can move around and those kinds of things. But bruh, you can buff nomadic lifestyle by improving questing. Well, what happened now? What happened now? What happened now? We server down? No, my internet is working. Zero Hedge is working. Zero Hedge is valuing my privacy. I guess I'm glad. Should be grateful for that. No, we're back. Which is only. Azrid Rose Online says, "How are you enjoying your new job?" Well, it's a job, so I'm not sure I enjoy that part, but I'm only kidding. No, I enjoy it fine. It's fun. We're working on a good game, and I'm spending working 4-ish days a week there. So, and then we do development. I have one day off where I do development for Haven, and we do development. Our usual, night sessions have not ended. So it's fun. Not sure I have much to tell you about the game we're working on, but I hope it'll be fun. It's fun working in a single player context, I'll tell you that much. That's a nice change of pace, but Haven is always going to be a first love of sorts, and the kind of I don't know, the white whale of a game idea that I really want to catch, really make it good. So we're not going to be. Haven is not going anywhere because I'm not done with it yet. So. Willie D says, cracks fingers. Edison, among other things, paid. Whoops, sorry about that again. Paid kids to round up cats and dogs, 25 cents per, and electrocutes them to show the public how dangerous AC electric transformers is in an attempt to sabotage Tesla. What does Tesla do? He uses his own body to transfer the alternating current to light a light bulb. Tesla is gosh darn legend. 80% of current modern technology is using his patents, which he gave away for free, by the way, because he didn't care for money. There was something special about that. Yeah, I'll have to read up on it. I only know the pop science version of pretty much some of the stuff they use stated, I guess. I'm not light bulb, yeah. I'm not 100% red pilled, so I thank you for the additional red pill. Yeah, I know there was the whole debate about direct current being less dangerous than alternating current, and I think he even electrocuted an elephant, I think, which strikes me as a bit much to prove a point, but only to prove a point. But hey, those were the days. Yeah, look into Tesla. Yeah. I will. There are those cool pictures of him where he's sitting in that lightning rig of his with he's sitting next to a Tesla coil firing bolts at the gridiron things around him. Yeah, it seems like a pretty cool based and cool guy. Tulicia says, Edison electrocuting elephant is a true story. It was condemned elephant that had killed people. All right. Well, the elephant had it effing coming then. Shouldn't go around killing people. Nasty elephant, you. So let's, we need to chop down a tree, we need to make a barrel, we need to bring some water back home, and then we're gonna, I don't know, start building something. Coles on TD says, I think we should be electrocuting more elephants. What you got against elephants, Coleson? So, yeah, here's the thing. I started using Krita, which is like the open source community's version of a take on a new graphics editing program, I guess, or painting, drawing. So the open source version answer to Photoshop, I suppose. And I've been pleasantly surprised. Especially, it has a lot of nice support for animation. You can do animations in the game, so that was really helpful. Now that we got back into doing a fair amount of animations, and these are really I just doodle something. I don't really have any time to spend on these, so they take a fair amount of time to do as is. But that being said, I found this program to be pretty good. It's a lot better than GIMP, at least in terms of brush handling and those things. It's one of the things that I've been most skeptical about using GIMP for. So maybe finally at some point we will be able to move away from Jask PaintShop Pro and move over to Krita, because PaintShop Pro is still what I use. So the old pirated version of PaintShop Pro. And hopefully, maybe I can finally, in 2019, going on 2020, upgrading my tech stack from a program that expired in. Can we find out about PaintShop Pro? 2004. The latest copyright on this is from 2004. So, which is, about ish when we started, doing some of the early sketch work for Haven, for old Legacy Haven. Jesus Loves You Still says, bring back Legacy Combat. I'm not sure that's even an option now. I think, especially, at least not with how push-out works, I don't know. I mean, I think, wasn't Moo Camberts, I think, was arguably it's the most skill testing part about Legacy's combat system. That being said, there are definitely things about Legacy's combat system. It would be fun if we eventually ended up bringing back Legacy's combat system. Could make the whole full circle, come back to Legacy. I'm not sure that would work with how with how push out presently works, because one of the things that you could do there was to clip people on trees and stuff in the world and building signs, and there were all kinds of stuff like that. Cozy TV says 3D world and push out would make it difficult, as well as the line of sight changes to moves that dick you around every tree. Yeah. So, I mean, maybe some of those could be changed back, but I don't know. How y'all guys feeling about the offense defense meters from Legacy? I guess those worked kind of well. I don't know. I haven't played Legacy's combat system in a long while, so I'm not even sure what I think about it anymore. Why was Legacy's combat skill testing? Was it the movement combat aspect of it, or what was it that made it better? Was it skill testing? I think it was skill testing. People told me it was. So, genius is sometimes accidental, I suppose. Although, to be fair, I'm not sure it was all that genius. I think that maybe a little bit of nostalgia glasses. Another thing that we were contemplating was to remove the prohibition on using roads and or charter stones when you are outlawed. We are considering scrapping that. so as to allow you to teleport and use fast travel even when outlawed. So let me know how you feel about that. The argument for those restrictions is that the argument for those types of restrictions are that, you know, if you're outlawed and can travel around, fast travel around, then you can never be caught when you have scent against you. That's maybe or maybe not true, but I think the argument for it is that presently it's kind of impossible to quickly get to places to join people, to try to help people out in combat, and maybe that puts a, I don't know, bigger nerf on, you know, fun PvP combat interactions than we really want to have. So that is a change that we're definitely contemplating. Criminal teleports, wow. For me, usually it just means doing nothing for that amount of time. Yeah. So, because if you're into PvP, you're going to be outlawed almost all of the time, I figure. So, and I'm not sure, like, the only reason for Real Bits that says removing Charterstone travel for outlaws means return of island hearthwalls. That is certainly true. Like, you would have hearthwalls of various kinds. But I'm not sure, like, right now, can you, I mean, is the siege system even meaningfully operative? Can you, I mean, even if you find an outlaw, even if you find his base, can you get into his base and kill him? Does it matter? Does it matter if we have island hearthwalls back? Like, given that siege is impossible, etc., etc., any basis of hearthwalls at the moment, says Cozy TV. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that's at least, you know, the analysis that we had when we talked about it last. So, and sure, if they're a nub and have white perms on, yeah, right. And they're not going to be that, right? So maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe hearthwalls just don't matter. Agent H. Granger says teleport should be scrapped anyway and replaced with a form of fast travel opposed to the instant sans hourglass in teleportation. I don't know. Not sure it makes that big of a difference functionally. I don't like what. How do you? Yeah, map locality means shit, but I don't know. I don't know how important map locality is. Like, map locality meaning something also makes it harder for communities to integrate with one another, for people to, you know, find other people to play with, for, you know, actual multiplayer interactions to occur, where, you know, you have multiplayer combat, etc., etc. I'm not sure, like, I don't know. I just don't know how well the whole map locality thing actually plays out. Like, we've historically operated on the assumption that map locality is, you know, the holy grail and something that's, you know, extremely important and blah blah blah. But it is kind of intrinsically opposed to another goal that we have. So maybe there are some conflicting design goals there. Like, another goal that we have is for this to be an MMO, like where you actually integrate, you know, where you have a sense of community, where you can meet people and you know, meet up with people. And oops, did I lose my internet connection there? Seems I did. Gosh darn it. See that? Did that do anything good for us? Okay, we're back, I think, maybe. Let's see. Boom. Let's see. Are we back? Am I back? Are we online? Derp. Are we on? Let's see if we're on. I think I'm gonna have to off. Can I force OBS to reconnect? We're getting somewhere. I think maybe. Boom. Oh, we back, boys. We back. Here we go. Sorry about that. Sorry about the brief interruption there. My local network sometimes gives out for unclear reasons. Boom. So where was I? Yeah, map locality meaning shit. Do we actually want that? Not sure. Sorry about the interruption there. We're back on track. Where were we? Where were we even? I have no idea anymore. Let's build a house. The house that Jorb built. Get up our carpentry. Maybe I should have done that before making all these crappy boards. Oh well. Can I make a shovel here? Yes, I can. Let's make a shovel. Yeah, map locality versus teleportation. Yeah, so I'm not sure, like, map locality, is it actually fun? I mean, it sounds good on paper, but does it play out well? I'm not sure I'm convinced of that. So this is pretty level already. That's nice. Why can't I open my... Seriously? Why can't I open my equipment screen? Equipment? What? What? Huh? Sport. Interesting. Gonna have to restart that client, I think. We'll keep that. Boom. Crashed after you said another idea that we had. What was I even? Where was I? I don't even. Jesus loves you still says ETA on client rewrite. I think Lofter is down to fixing bugs at least. What the F? Did I somehow magically reset my key bindings for the equipment screen? What? Okay, Boomer. What the F? Is it broken on all my characters or just this one? Let's try this one. Broken there as well. That's awfully curious. Okay then. I guess I'm not using my equipment screen for some reason. Everything else works, but not my equipment screen. What the hell? I have no idea why that would be. I guess we're not leveling that out then. That's dumb. I've never had that happen before. Restart the Triamber client. Restart. I did restart the client. We'll try restarting the client again. Close down all these old clients as well. Try it again. I did restart the client. Didn't work. Didn't do nothing. That is peculiar, to say the least. Everything else works except for that. Can I set it to something else? Can I set it to, like, Q, maybe? No. I don't know about that one. I do not know what's up with that. Try starting a new world. Yeah, I see what you did there. Okay, we're just going to have to gather curios then. That is crazy. Never had that happen. I'm going to eat Loftar's heart out over that later. I blame Loftar. That's what I usually do. Makes it easy for me. Cozy TV says, local banking and forageables haven't been fun in any games that I've played that have tried it. It just makes for walking simulator scenarios, and people don't want to venture out to explore your game because it becomes more tedious the further out you go from your home base. Yeah, that's probably like something akin to that is arguably kind of my analysis as well. I'm not sure, like, granted, I think we could still have some sense of locality and in terms of having local forageables and stuff, but I think we need efficient fast travel for the multiplayer aspect of the game to really gel. So that's at least my present analysis. If you don't like it, I have others, but I'm kind of skeptical about locality being too important. I think I'm more and more coming over to the fast travel is kind of necessary and fun camp. Because it's fun when you can go visit your friends and where, H&H Granger says, I'm not opposed to fast travel, just teleport. I'm not sure what would the functional difference be between fast travel and teleport. I'm really iffed that my equipment screen is not working. I don't like that one bit. Willie D1 says, but Haven is a very peculiar game, and what I like with this world is that the continent looks somewhat different, and I believe different areas having different pros and cons are important. Well, I mean, that could still be the case. I mean, it's not as if locality will, never matter at all. At least, with roads and, charter stones and such, you still have, like, the incentive that you need to set the fast travel up in the first place. You need to, create the infrastructure for it. Granted, when you've done that, Engineer Granger says, fast travel in world, high speed, teleport, out of world, instant. Yeah, sure, Granger, I get that part. But what is the functional difference in terms of gameplay mechanics? How does it play out differently? What does you autistically tracing the map actually accomplish? How does it play out differently? I mean, you can already waylay people. You can. I mean, what would the difference be? Is your equipment screen dragged off of your screen? It could be that your window is opening, but its window coordinates are off screen. That is a good theory, Cozy. Actually, I don't know how I would resolve that though. Can I set them? I have no idea. I've never done that before. Haha, we got a hair from the Aurochs. When you can't use it anyway because I'm always travel weary after 2 trips. Well, I mean, there are ways. Try a custom client. I'm not going to be trying your keylogging bullshit clients. Azrid, I refuse. No, sir. Not tonight. You will not fool me with this ruse. Not tonight, sir. World reset and reinstall Windows XP. Now we're talking. Thinking in terms of solution, Cozy. Could be that it's drag off screen. That's actually a good theory. I'm not sure how I would go about actually testing that. Is it behind here? No. Did I F that up completely now? Is that working out well? I don't know. I don't even know. Then suffer. F off. FDF off. Yeah, suffer. I'm gonna have to suffer. My booming tech skills not working out for me tonight. Yeah. Yeah. Not sure if the default client has that. I'll have to ask Loftar. I have to go run to Daddy Boast, and make him fix it for me. But it's a good theory. I think it may be something to that. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, I don't know. So Dakan says you can't use it anyway. I don't know. I mean, there are ways of getting rid of travel weariness. Don't those work for you, like tobacco and the leads and stuff? That doesn't do anything for you. H&H Granger says main differences would be to actually see other people passing by, and from traversing space having a cost. Traversing space already has a cost. We already compute the cost. So, and it's relevant. The tiles you cross are relevant, and blah blah blah. So we already compute a traversal cost. So I mean, the winner takes it all Walmart, I think, is going to be a thing anyway. Real Bitsa says it could be argued that fast travel can take away from interaction, meeting random people, etc. Yeah, but like at any time you're out and about, you're still going to be meeting. Traversal cost doesn't exist from a certain point as of endless numbers. What do you mean? I have no idea what you mean. What do you mean by what do you mean traversal cost doesn't exist from a certain point? I don't understand you, sir. Maybe I'm dumb, but I do not understand what you're saying. Quite open to the possibility that I'm dumb. Apparently I can't even hack SOAR my own equipment Windows. Certainly gives some credence to the dumb theory. He means that certain stats, travel weariness becomes insignificant. Okay. Sure. I mean, but that has nothing to do with whether we autistically, move characters across the map or teleport them instantly. It's a completely unrelated question. We would still have travel awareness scaling with character development. Like if you can argue for removing that, but that is a completely separate issue. I'm not sure what the connection to having travel be more in-world type thing, being a more in-world type thing. I'm not sure. I still don't see the connection. So lots of boars out tonight, so we're not going to try to not get knocked out by those. He says, proceeds to get knocked out. Cozy TV says, Crossroads and Crossroad Networks were a big draw for me and added hundreds of hours to my legacy playtime setting up and maintaining. Yeah. That's good, Coles. I don't think we're looking to. I mean, what did Crossroads do that roads don't do for you? Like you have similar maintenance issues with those, I imagine. Asking allies for crossroads to their outer wall made for stronger ties and interaction. Yeah, but you can still have that with roads and with. The thing I don't like. Easier fast travel later in the world is more fun since less people to interact with in your local area. Yeah, I agree, and I think legacy crossroads were much easier to set up than current roads. Yes, and I think arguably they were a bit too easy. And I think the main issue I have with them was that they were used significantly for in-village travel. I don't like that at all. And, aside from that, I'm not sure I see what you could accomplish with crossroads that you can't accomplish with charter stones. So, roads decay and get blocked constantly. You also have difficulty crossing rivers and such. Yeah, well, there's more maintenance to them, and they preserve more locality. I'm not sure that's a bad thing. I don't know. I'm not. And again, I didn't like how crossroads were used for, in-village travel between, inside your own village. Precursor says, what about sketch colors? When will you add the rest of them? What is the rationale behind the current system? The rationale behind the current system is that you shouldn't be able to. The rationale is that we wanted it to be that you kind of designed more heraldic type patterns where you actually, were somewhat limited in, your design choices. Granted, I realize that most people just work around that with. Yeah. That's my equipment screen. It was right there. Jeez, Louise. Now I feel like a bleeding idiot. It was hidden right there, all the time, all along. We can get back to the base building project now. That worked so well. I'm not sure it worked out well, but that is the rationale behind it. At least. And I don't know. do we really want it to be to the point where you can just, I don't know, download? I guess you already download porn and put it on your sales. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure I have a strong and good argument against more colors, really. Yeah, you have to. Yeah, it looks a little shittier, and you have to dither and blah blah blah. I don't know. Maybe there isn't a good argument against more colors. That is already possible. Sure, that is already possible. Ban weeb art. Yeah. I don't know. How do you feel about adding more mythical beasts into the game? Asks Dinosaurs Rex. They are not just dungeon spawns and will be very rare occurrence. It can be a challenge, dangerous to fight, kind of like catch-a-lots. Yeah, why not? Like I think I have some ideas for things that we're gonna add. So we're gonna add more mini creatures, Yetis and Winter Wen. Yeah, Yeti Glow, Mountain Trolls, basically. Yeah, why not? Maybe. Somewhat like we've kind of maintained some sort of distinction where the underworld is magical and has magical creatures, and the overworld is more naturalistic. Paints a more naturalistic scene, and I'd be kind of loath to give up on that entirely. But I don't know. Mountain Trolls in winter could be fun. So I don't know. I don't want it to be too overt and over the top. I kind of like that most of the normal enemies in Haven are naturally occurring creatures and such. So I wouldn't want to give up entirely on that. So yeah, I'll give you a little new race dogman one. Yeah, sharks, giant krakens. I'll give you a little sneak peek of what I'm working on. This is a bit of a work in progress, but I'm working on an orca. I'm going to add an orca. And for size comparison, we have a catch-a-lot. So that's going to make it in at some point. I have yet to make teeth for it. Will they travel in groups and attack on sight? I mean, that's what orcas do, right? Pack hunting, meanie, vicious, tameable. Yeah, rideable orca event. When? That's the real question. That's what I'm asking. It would like a rideable orca. I don't know. I suppose if we lock it behind enough, strange credo, orca rider credo, it'll be like sandworm tamer from Dune, but for orcas. Yeah, rest in peace, boat travel. Yeah, orca travel is the new hot thing. So, does anyone have any cool ideas about when is the promised mammoth mount coming? That's a good question. That we should arguably get on that. I suppose the exact mechanics of how that would work out is the real question. Will we get bigger boats with cannons to hunt them? I don't know about cannons, and I'm not sure we can actually support bigger. Any cool ideas for dogs? Like what could dogs do? I contemplated adding dogs, but I wasn't really able to think of a good mechanic for them. Like what could they actually help you with? I kind of don't. I think it would be probably a bad idea to have them as combat assistants, because like what's to stop you from bringing along a pack of like 30 odd doggos. Dogs attack when you leave sense. I don't know about it. Maybe guard dogs. Maybe they could guard your base somehow. Maybe that could be a good use for them. But there would need to be some incentive to not just pack your dog could pick up dead chickens and bring them to you. Yeah, there we go again with like them being some sort of combat assistant. Guard dogs, cats heal wounds sleeping with you. Do they? Is that a scientifically proven fact? I could suppose that you get some kind of what's it called, oxymoron release when you a fetching mechanic for nearby shit would work. Would that be sufficient to make dogs interesting? Oxytocin. Yeah, oxytocin is right. Yeah. So you get some sort of oxytocin release from cats, sleeping with cats. Not in any sort of Michael Jackson kind of way, but as in lying next to them. Can also help you see sun. Yeah, I thought about maybe some sort of tracking thing could be fun. Seeing suns. Ooh, we saw a dryad. I didn't actually see it, but apparently we saw it. There it is. Oh, boom, boom, boom. I wonder when people will finally figure out what they actually do. It's been like a really long time now, and people still have no idea how they work. It seems. Cats bring you rodents, squirrels, etc. I don't know how useful that would be. Comfort Dog, Newtown Tragedy, Animal Therapy. Right on. National Geographic. Will this National Geographic link be displaying primitivistic pictures of native boobies? Because if so, I don't want to be. Will we ever be allowed to create forest fires and burn down trees building? I don't know. Maybe. Like burning down buildings could perhaps be a good mechanic. I'm not sure I have the good, proper, right idea for what to do with burning down the house. Just have them take damage over time. Boop, boop, boop. So I take it there were no objections to changing the satiations to be on a per item type basis then, by the way. Yeah, I guess some sort of tracking thing could be good for dogs. I'll try to think in those terms. Help you find sense. I mean, you basically you never do. So, or at least do you ever track people? I guess maybe you guys do. And is it ever hard? Like, would you ever actually need a dog? Does stealth do anything now? Is anyone using it? Is it good for anything? Laser says, Pew says, what does he mean by per item type basis? So what we changed here, and I'm testing this on a God account right now, is that the satiations now target individual food items, such as red apple, rather than overarching broad food categories, such as fruit. So that is what that does. Remember the text message notifications from back in the day, like the XMPP, PP poo. There's my canoe, my dugout. It was hiding in the apple orchard all the time. Gosh darn it. Much like the equipment screen. Things are hiding from me in plain sight tonight. It's the theme of the stream. Things hiding in plain sight. Whaler credo with ability to somehow track whales. Yeah, maybe. Like I don't know. Like I'm so torn on things like that because I know that how you guys do it right now is to just run bots every now and then that log in and check if you found a whale locally. So maybe it would be better to add an explicit mechanic to grind whales, but that also feels somewhat dumb. So I don't know. I don't know about that, but I want to grind whales, Yorbo, says Trolix. It's understandable. Hump the humpback, as it were. Plenty of puns to be made on that topic. Burp, burp, burp. Burp, burp, burp. Ziet777 says, hello, I know it's a question you don't like, but I really love early game. I kind of get bored at some point. World restart anytime soon? As per usual, even if I had planned to reset the server tomorrow, if I were planning to reset it tomorrow, I would probably tell you, but I'm not planning to do that, so I can't comment on that, because if I do, then the air goes out of the game completely. So it will need to remain a mystery until the time is right. But, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't exclude doing it sometime, but it's not like I don't have an active timetable for it yet, and you will know as soon as I do. So, Felon next says, "What's with the new comment system? Still on it or postponed for now?" If you go back and rewatch the stream upload that I'm gonna do later, then you'll find out why. I talked about it for like the first 30 odd minutes or so, and basically we're off it for now because we felt that it had insurmountable problems, and I've been over this a couple of times now, but long story short, we felt that it played out well as a comment system in and of itself, but that it didn't interface well with the rest of the game. So yeah, reset window positions could be a good thing. Ooh, we got some poetry. Some nice poetry. Let us get yield plow. Put the land here under the plow. Oosh, that's slow. Where were we? It would be cool to be able to lure trolls away from your mining area when you are not able to fight them yet, with like some kind of special item. What do you think? Trolls can appear on any level right now, right? I don't know. I kind of like that they are a bit problematic when you can't fight them. I kind of like how you as a nub might be incentivized to bring in outside help to help you take down the troll. Laser says Pew says, per item type satiation system looks pretty much the same as the previous one, saying punished by not playing Tamaguchi. What do you mean by punished by not playing Tamaguchi? What's the reasoning behind it? The reasoning behind it is that I don't like how, if we don't have some sort of satiation system, then you're heavily incentivized to only spam one type of food. I don't like that because it makes it so that like only one food type is really relevant, and there's no limit to how much like midnight blue cheese you can stuff in your face, and that seems dumb. So Sacrocare Strong says people need motivation for PvP, like meteors, world bosses, or something like that. Not all people are ready to lose characters for fun. What do you think about this? I agree that motivations for PvP would be fun. We've several things that we've tried to add, like well, arguably the beanstalks kind of suck, and I haven't even seen one. So, but I agree that it'd be nice if there were more motivations designed to create PvP encounters, and that was one of the reasons behind adding the natural wonders, the icicles and such, was to create points of conflict on the map, and meteorites fill a similar function. So the more the merrier, I guess. It'd be. I mean, the meteorites, I guess, maybe work better in that they are one-off server-wide type thing, which kind of forces combat. The natural wonders are probably. I mean, they were intended to create points of siege warfare conflict, and arguably, I'm not sure how viable that vision really is because siege being overly relevant is always going to be a bit problematic, or at least a hard design challenge to solve because people don't like losing their bases when they're offline, and people also don't like spending inordinate amounts of time trying to siege someone down. So basically, no one is ever happy with it, and yeah, so that's a tough one. Infinity grind from endless numbers isn't fun. Well, maybe not, but neither is being locked out of the game because you hit some arbitrary stat cap. So that's my argument against it. I don't like stat caps in game. I always in games like I stopped playing what was it, Fallout 3 the minute I hit the stat cap. It wasn't fun anymore. So what do you think about making local resources move around periodically? What I've stated before, I wouldn't mind if some of them did, but like the intention behind them was to create points of active ongoing conflict. I guess they're too common for that to be a thing. They're not powerful enough for that to really be a thing. There are several reasons why that the siege system is, a big can of worms in many ways. So several reasons, I suppose, why that doesn't actually play out the way you might want it to. But it's the fact that people build walls and idols around them. Yeah, okay, so they would have to move for that not to be the case. Because we can't really prevent people from walling them in any good and meaning. There should really be an animation for laying stone paving. I think I've made like 1,000 notes of that. Animation for laying stone paving. Boom. Manny13 says, to be honest, I came to Haven believing that the permadeath mechanic would create an environment where only a small group of hated murderers would try to kill others and the rest would live together. Better or worse, recreating a real-life situation at the time back then. But anonymity breeds violence, and it was the complete opposite. So you're saying that there was war was the only thing. The only PvP I would agree in life is to defend my life or sparring with others. Yeah. I mean that's the thing. PvP in real life isn't particularly fun, especially when you scale it up to full-scale war. Or I don't know. I suppose there's debate on that subject. Some people, I think, consider it to be quite fun. A lot of the like conservative revolution type people in Germany, like Ernst Jünger and the like, had a kind of macabre fascination for war and the experiences that they had in the trenches of World War One, and considered it a period of real camaraderie and sense of purpose and all those things. And arguably, there's probably something about living on the edge of death every day that is intense, at least. And so I can certainly, imagine having to climb up out of the trenches to go move across like a kilometer or more of dead no man's land, against machine gun and artillery fire and barbed wire and all kinds of nasty, people trying to kill you. And, when the whistle blows, you just have to climb up over the top and into the hail of bullets. That seems... The people actually have done that is, a testament to, I suppose, both their courage and perhaps human stupidity. I don't know. It's very hard to imagine being kind of the peace-damaged type individual that you tend to be, having grown up in late modernity, when, after all the great wars have already been fought. Though I guess war is the only constant of the human existence, so I suppose all the great wars probably had not been fought yet. So, yeah, of course, bad Germans again. No, that's not my perspective at all. I think I'm quite of the opposite persuasion, actually. Everyone knows, certainly, that Anglo-French high finance started World War One very much with the explicit intention of shutting down both Germany and Russia. These are not secrets. Anyone with any, remotely reasonable sense of understanding of history would tell you that. So, plowing straight like that—that's a boomer move right there. I should be plowing zigzag to optimize my diagonal movement. Oof. Boomer reveals himself. The timber house is really butt ugly, by the way. Hate the timber house. We're not going to be building we will not be building a timber house tonight. Maybe I do that instead and I get both of these. Dakin says, alright, commuting home. Have fun, y'all. Take care, Dakin. It was nice of you to stop by. see. The problem with the current and your new satiation system is that semi-casual players are totally left behind. Last world, I could just spam food on the Wii and keep up with stats to a point. This world basically I have to play 3+ hours a day to even have a chance. Any plans to change that? Why is it that you can't keep up though? Wouldn't the increased variance of being able to use all the food categories aid you in keeping up? Is it that it's so strictly timer bound that prevents you from keeping up? Like I don't know. That's certainly an argument against time gating like that. But also, I don't know. Like if we don't have time gates, then the then there's just no stopping the people who are ahead of you. And I think given that the stat variance, I mean, one of the things that we would like to change is to flatten out the yield curve a little bit from stats to make stats perhaps less crucially relevant, and maybe change the scaling factors of how the stat comparisons are made. So that would certainly change the situation. But I'm not sure, like, removing all time gating sounds like a bad idea. So, because then there's just no stopping anyone from just, stuffing their face with food all day, every day, massive bot farms, etc., etc. Bring back permanent for all and not just rage. Yeah, that may be a good idea. I'm not sure the whole range change has really amounted to much, so that could probably be a good idea to just remove or bring back permanent death properly. I had to eat several types of food on a timer. Last world, people basically stopped stats progress after a point. With 10k stats, you were pretty okay in PvP. And I mean, I think that's the type of situation that I'd like to kind of see, is that, like, why did people stop progressing? Did they? Because where, like, you can still be mildly relevant in PvP without having the toppest of notch stats, so that there could be some limit to how much better you could be than someone else. And there is, but I think we could do more to, again, kind of even out the yield curve a little bit and make it so that, and that's another thing where we definitely want to change how metal spiraling works as well for next world. I don't think that's played out well at all with the just runaway qualities on metals. We looked at that the other night, and I'm not happy with the present setup of that. So, and I think that's one of the reasons, because I suspect that high quality weapons creates a huge insurmountable gap in PvP. That wasn't really new world, next world confirmed. The next world is in a sense confirmed the day we launch a new server. Like, there's always going to be a next world. I mean, Haven is not at a point where we can maintain a permanent server yet. So there's nothing. You learned nothing new there, Coles. There was only old information. World 13 boys confirmed. And 14 and 15, and how about a legacy reset? I'm not interested in the legacy reset because I don't want to believe that legacy still has, is a better game, or whatever. Metal alone is not the problem, in my opinion. You need some kind of soft or even hard cap for stats gear, at least for PvP relation. Yeah, that is at least probably accurate. That we need there needs to be some sense of limitation to how much better you can be than someone else, and that probably needs to apply to everything, including equipment, including blah blah blah. Lily D1 says, I'll hold you to that. Please don't tire of Haven, at least not for a bunch of years. There's too much of a sunk cost fallacy going on for me to abandon it at this point. And plus, we haven't even gotten to some of the better ideas that we have for it, I think. So there's still plenty of things that I'd like to do with it. Not least of which would be a freeform building system. I think that's long overdue, and that's something that as soon as Loftar is done with the client friend. Right. If that is ever going to be a thing. I say as soon as he's done, and he's never done. So. But maybe he is soon. Maybe. Pray to God. Dear God, please make Loftar soon be done. So why not just do it? Do what? Sorry, but I think the game is ingenious otherwise. Because of things that, caps and such. Yeah, I mean, we're going to rework that. The question is only we need to find an opportune time to rework them. So, Ezra Rose Online says, looking forward to making actual good-looking buildings. Word up, man. You and me both. I think, a freeform building system is so long overdue, it's not even funny. Because, building these, fixed models is just ass. It's nowhere near as fun as it could be. So I'd really, really like to. And it also feels so pointless adding more buildings, because how can I ever even begin to explore the possibility space of all the kind of things that you might want to build by adding, fixed models of this kind? There's just no way. So I think that's really one of the things that really bothers me about Haven is, and I argue, I'd also like to, even with freeform building, it's nice to have fixed models. It could be nice to have some fixed available blueprints. I could agree with that. Arguably, you would need some sort of system to make blueprints anyway, and you could share them with your friends. And BMJ Clark says, stats matter less in Legacy. I agree with that analysis to some extent, because at least if you hit someone with 0 defense, you could very likely 1 or 2 shot them no matter their stats, or yours as long as you were Marshall. I think if I logged in now and attacked the top sided player, he could probably survive 20 plus cleaves from me, if not more. Yeah, and I agree that is not, the situation that we want to have. So that is probably a good point that you make there, BMJ Clark, I think, and that, is in the same vein as what I was talking about earlier, like just flattening the yield curve and making that more of a thing. I think I agree with the fundamental analysis that the spread is far too wide, especially given how stat-based combat still is. So, and it would be fun if it were less stat-based, but making it skill-based is a non-trivial design challenge. So, but yeah, I agree with you. You make valid points, sir. All your points were valid. Let's see. Let's get some more water. Soon gonna have this house up and running, y'all. So how's everyone doing? We got snow here in Sweden. What's the weather like where you're at? Y'all having a good Advent tide? Y'all as excited as I am about the birth of the soon-to-be birthday of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? Christmas is awesome. I love Christmas. 3 degrees. 3 that would be Celsius, right? Civilized degrees in Canada, right? You use civilized degrees, or do you use Fahrenheit in Canada? When can we expect the Spanish Inquisition? No one ever expected. So, snow here in Sweden, yeah. Snow here in sunny Stockholm as well. And we actually, for unusually for this being this early in the winter season, it's actually good snow right now in Stockholm. We got good snow. We were out today, took a long walk, and yeah, it was great. It was a wonderland of sorts out there. It was reasonably mild temperatures, but still not enough for the snow to just melt away. Because normally in November in Sweden you have slush galore. It's not proper snow. It's just slush, and slush is the worst. I would prefer any of the alternatives, either it being freezing cold or there being no cold. Boomer moment. Christ's birth does not have a lot to do with Christmas. Christ's birth is the reason we celebrate Christmas, you fool. I don't know what pagan LARPy bullshit you are into or what you think Christmas is about, but Christmas is very much about celebrating the birth of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. But the pagans was Yule, and it's just a pagan holiday, and Ishtar means Easter, and Christianity did nothing for us. Yeah. Get out of here. Get out of here with that nonsense, bro. Phalanx says, can't wait for Christmas. Give us some presents to hunt for out in the wild. Maybe a Santa hunt. Also, we need more hats. Also, always going to give you more hats. Always going to be providing on the hat front. we're Azrid Rose Online says, Jorb, why do you follow a desert religion? Because Jesus Christ is the second person of the Godhead, and the Logos made manifest in human form. And so whether that is from the desert or not does not matter. It is completely immaterial to the main point. So that's the reason. So basically the fundamental argument there would be that we don't like we choose religion based on what is true, not based on like our LARPy pagan ideas about what we preserving the folk and all that nonsense. We don't. That's not what we're into here, at least. Yeah, so we're definitely going to be doing a good ass, I hope, Christmas type ish update. I hope we're going to batch some good content and try to push it for some sort of more reasonable type update. There's been a dearth of updates while we've been working on this, now defunct combat system. So just making some good proper content updates could be fun. Princess Mandy 91 says, "Are you Catholic?" No, I'm not Catholic. I'm kind of leaning towards Eastern Orthodoxy, but I'm a member of a Lutheran church. So, would love a Santa hunt quest, like Santa. Yeah, Santa Claus. It's my favorite. My favorite scene in Narnia is when they hear the sleigh bells and they think it's the Wicked Ice Queen coming, but it's actually Santa Claus who's coming, because winter without Christmas is now over. So it's a really strong and good scene. Should look into C.S. Lewis more if you haven't. Some of his apologetic stuff is really based and good. So if you're into that type of thing, then C.S. Lewis is a good writer. Can certainly recommend if you're. It's kind of lowbrow, low tier, but Mere Christianity is a good book. So read that. Santa Claus is a Coca-Cola company advertising invention. Yeah, in its modern form, he arguably is. But the tradition of gifts giving around Yuletide is very, traditional. So, and not necessarily, exclusively Christianly so, but. Cozy TV says, when I was a kid, I wanted to be Santa because he only works one day per year. No, dog. He's out there every day of the year. I have a children's book on this theme. He's working hard year round to produce the inordinate amounts of stuff that needs to be delivered on Christmas Day. You only see the external, works of Santa, not the internal stuff. Mopsy Pacey says, I'm fighting with myself to not say something bad about religion. Go ahead, man. Anyone who's into religion is going to be used to that. So we live in a like godless world, man. It's not, you can't say anything that I haven't heard a million times before, and I'm not going to be offended by that. So go crazy. Ancient H. Granger says, men invented God and then subjected themselves under its rules, trying to understand God's rules that were made up with God by men. QED, that humans were stupid. Yeah, well, I mean, that's a lot of invectives and not much analysis to speak of. So QED, you're wrong. Talking religion is always a good way to make friends and influence people. Let's see. But yeah, some more content would be sweet, and we're definitely going to try to wrap up some sort of decent Christmas patch. We'll do some hats at the very least. And because, yeah, again, we spent a lot of time on the comment system. I think it was like 3 months, and So it kind of sucks that it didn't pan out better. We're almost done. Boom, we got a house. We got a house, bros. Actually didn't build a house on the other noob character that I was playing. So I remember that we read a text about Santa breaking it down scientifically, and it ended with, if he ever existed, he's dead now. Yeah, because of the crazy speeds that he had to travel at. And blah, blah. That's the magic of Christmas, sir. I want to believe. Perhaps not in Santa Claus, but let's go see if we can pull up the nets now that we know that the dugout is securely located in the apple orchard. We're gonna go. Whoop. Princess Mandy says, "What are you eating in Sweden for Christmas?" We usually do a traditional Swedish Yule board, which is the same as the traditional Swedish Midsummer's board, and the same, which is incidentally the same as the traditional Swedish Easter board. And that's basically, meatballs and sausages and, some egg halves and ham for sure, mustard, maybe some porridge if you're into that. Not, in the same. You'd take multiple servings of various types of foods, some silonubba, herring, pickled herring, not pickled necessarily, but with some sort of, what do you call it? You lay it into whatever, some sort of herring. Yeah, so that's Princess Mandy says, "We eating fried carp, right on." Where's that? Where you're eating fried carp? Sill, bruh. Yeah, Sill. You gotta get your Sill straight. And Sill is awesome, or herring. Really, really, really good. When I was a kid, I was like, couldn't eat fish at all. I really didn't like it at all. But you grow up and acquire a more varied palate. Czech Republic, right on. Voice is echoing again. No. But I know why that is now, don't I? Isn't that something to do with the client bullshit? Let me just have a listen here. Is it better now? No? It's not better now. We still have echo. What's up with the freaking echo? Don't like the echo. Did that just start out of the blue? Did that literally just start out of the blue? Because I think we established last time that this had something to do with using multiple clients, but I'm not using multiple clients. That was the working theory then, at least. Odd that. It's God's speaking. Yeah, it is, man. Man, it is, bruh. Okay, I don't know what to do about that, I'm afraid. Not sure what I could do. Let me try. Maybe. Let's try this. Did that do anything good? Carp is a very useful animal. You like to have. I think that did something good, right? Maybe it did? No, that did. No, that did nothing for us. I have no idea. My ears hurt my gourd. It's really, really annoying. That is really, really annoying. I have no idea what causes that. I have no idea what causes it. Crap is not an animal. No, it certainly isn't. I should really like to get to the bottom of this. Cozy says, do you still get any dollar from Salem? A little bit. It's not like more than you'd think, but not any meaningful amount of money. But the game, Salem is still a thing. Like there are still some people playing it apparently, so which makes me happy. I don't think it's being particularly actively developed. I don't know what to do about the gosh darn sound thing. I have no real clue why it started. Did it just start? Did I do anything when it started? Was I doing anything particular? Was I fiddling around with anything that I shouldn't be fiddling around with? I mean, there has to be some sort of feedback issue where I'm getting the audio channel multiplied twice. But I can't say I have any good theories for what could be causing that. My webcam mic is also picking up sound, you say. That could actually, maybe, but why would it start and stop doing that? Could that be a thing? Could perhaps be a thing. I hear voices. I don't think it'll stop though. Did I turn it off? Turn it off? But that's not actually turning it off. It's just turning off my image. Scroll down mixer. Oh, there are two microphones. Let's try to drag that one down to 0. Is that doing anything good for us? Is that better? Low. How are we doing now? Oops. Disconnected, reconnecting. Okay, let's see. Are we back? See, are we back? Derp. Derp. H&H devs in a nutshell. Good to go. Rookie mistake. Boom. Do we have any audio? Audio? Visuals? Anything? Audio is good. So audio is better now? So that's probably the reason then. Because we had 2 microphones here. Found it then. That's dumb. That is really, really dumb. Okay, so I guess we solved that mystery. Jesus Christ almighty. Thank you, Cozy, for making me scroll down that. 2-year mystery solved. Yeah. God damn it. Alright. This is proof only that the sun also has its spots, I suppose. So I think we're gonna actually clean audio for once. Whoop! There we go. Alright. Solved that one. Hopefully. Of course the camera has a microphone. I should have figured that out. That was dumb. SF. We're gonna fry some fish and look at the satiations explode, and then we're gonna call it a night because I think that's gonna be enough for me. But so if you have any final questions and such, then feel free to shoot. We're gonna roast this stuff up, and then we're gonna call it a night. Oops. But yeah, this was fun. Add sewage drumming in the game with wound smelling. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Why not? It should be in the game in some capacity at least. Yeah, we lost about 10 people there to the booming tech skills. The booming tech skills cost us 10 people in the final, shivering final moments of the stream. But yeah, every time I do these, I kind of have fun, and I think to myself, maybe I should do them more often. And every time I don't. But I don't know. Who knows what the next... I hope you guys are excited for 2020. The 10s are over. We're in the 20s. We're going to be in the 20s in a month. That's crazy, actually. These past 10 years have rolled by really quickly, and I have no expectation that the next 10 years are going to be rolling past any slower. But it's fun to be alive. It's a fun time to be alive. Azrid Rose Online says, where are my flying cars? It's about to be 2020. Yeah, that's a really good question. Back to the Future proved wrong. Back to the Future was a false prophet. One false prophecy is enough to be a false prophet. Okay, we're just going to gobble all this down. And as you can see, we now have like roast fillet of asp, rough-eyed, all these various fishes. Fishies. The cup. Let's put it on the table. Good call. My quality wouldn't want to be without my quality 7 cup here. Could make all the difference. We just need one more thing. Maybe it could be a mulberry. Maybe it could be some sea berries. Maybe it could even be some cherries. Cherry on top. Boom, 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 boom. Cherry on top. Yeah, there we go. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, that did nothing. Now this system seems to be done. Implementing soon. Yeah, if no one has any like real, arguments against it, I think I'm gonna just try to push this to the real server, see what it does. I mean, worst case, if it doesn't work out too well, we can always just revert it. So it's not a big deal. If people hate it, but I think it'll work better than the existing system. So at least you will reduce them over time, quite simply. So you wouldn't be drinking them away. Mossy Pacey waited 2 years to solve the audio mystery. What next client rewrite? Wow. Yeah. Well, the question: what do drinks do? They buff your FEP gains. That's what they do. We haven't implemented that, but that is the presently running idea. And we would also make it so that you could buff them a little bit, or buffer them, or a little bit rather. Drinks require them. Yeah, maybe. If you want to see it that way. Well, what the odd thing is though that why didn't I have constant audio troubles? Given that we had 2 microphones, why were the audio problems intermittent, as it were? Why did they come and go like that? That's the real mystery. Because I can't have 2. I can only selectively have 2 microphone inputs. I have no idea. What is your theory, chat? I'm not sure I have one to explain that one, but having 2 microphones seems like a dumb thing. We should probably not have that. That's the hacker. It's recording you masturbating, checking in for loot. Masturbation is wrong. You shouldn't be masturbating. Stop it. You know it's wrong. So stop it. Call of Duty TV, I don't think it ever really went away. I think you were just closer to one or the other. Yeah, that's drowned the other one out. That may be true, actually. That may be a workable theory there, Coles. You don't the males even when not having a camera. I'm not sure what you're trying to say there, Granger. My theory is the boomers need to go to bed. You got it, Azrid. That is exactly what we're going to be doing. We're going to be heading to bed. This was a lot of fun. Thank you for this stream. Hopefully, next stream we have at least solved one of our persistent tech problems because I'm an idiot. So, yeah, we'll hopefully not have that issue in the future at least. Glad y'all could join us. Glad you all were here. Have a continuously blessed Advent. We're gonna do the December stream before Christmas, so I'll catch you all in less than a month. And yeah, take care, stay safe, in game, out of game. Jesus loves you. Quit the pagan LARPy shit and get well and good with God. Lord bless you and keep you. Let His face shine upon you, etc., etc. Take care, guys, and sleep tight. And always available on the forums. And any feedback you may or may not have, feel free to hand it to me in any way. I'm also on Discord now, so if you want to pop on Discord, I usually try to respond there as well. So yeah, you can find the relevant links on the forum. I'm sure you're big boys, so you can Google. And I'll catch you all in December. So yeah, peace and love. Take care, guys. See you later, and hopefully we'll have less streaming issues next time. Good night, guys. Peace out.